guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Christian Sports Corner. Real quick, man, hope everybody's having a great Monday. It's Monday. If you ain't motivated on a Monday, then something's wrong with you. All right, Monday is your go day. It's the day you just come out swinging, baby. It's Monday. It's me or you. Hope that pumped y'all up a little bit, man. All right, man. So we know I talk a lot about my Lakers on this channel. Also talk a lot about the Toronto Raptors on this channel. I also talk a lot about my Dallas Cowboys. I talk a lot about the Baltimore Ravens, and I try to talk about everything. But I mean, those are probably the teams I talk about the most on this channel. But I talk about everything, and sometimes, I want to talk about other teams, and I get requests to talk about other teams. So this was definitely a request to look at the Houston Rockets and what they've done this year. First of all, let's just say this. James Harden left them in bad shape. I think we got to start there, right? Like, if we don't acknowledge that, then we're doing ourselves a disservice. All right. But in doing research and of course we're gonna talk about Jalen Green, right? Look like a superstar in the making, right? We can't definitively say he's a superstar, but we can definitely say he looked like a superstar in the making. He looked like he's like an all-star coming through the G League. Took a non-conventional route, and even though Cade Cunningham went number one, there are some that felt like Jalen Green could have been number one, just as Cade Cunningham. So, and first of all, as I go through this, man, let me say this one thing, and let me just put this out out to the public straight up. This guy do not lack confidence. All right. I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep getting this dumb stuff popping up here, guys. I apologize. But I'm gonna give you a quick quote for you guys to see exactly why I say this. This is a quote from Jalen Smith. He says, Jalen Green. I'm thinking about the Cowboys. Jalen Green. There's a lot of talk about Cade Cunningham, who the Pistons took number one, and other people. But I'm the best player. The 19-year-old Green told GQ. And I feel like nobody can do what I do. I show up every time the lights come on, whether it's some weak players or top in the country. Those are his words. So first of all, when for a team like the Rockets, you kind of expect it's rebuild time. It's rebuild time. They went through the James Harden era. Unfortunately, did not bring a championship. They did everything they could to get him. They did everything they could possibly do to keep him. He wanted out. He wanted Brooklyn. He ultimately got what he wanted. So when you start to look at where the Houston Rockets go from here, you're like, all right, well, let's look at the draft. What may they do after the draft? Well, they started off with the number 2 pick in Jalen Green. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this. When I literally sat and watched some tape on this guy. This guy can score. He can score. He'll make some good passes, but he's a scorer. Let scorers score. I get it. We want everyone to be positional and got to be excellent at all these things. No, let this young man score. He can score the ball. And I just think he's a center. He's the cornerstone for the foreseeable future for the Rockets. It's all about him. It's all about him continuing to grind and get better. But far as scoring, other things may need a little work. But far as scoring, yeah, he's that guy. He's that guy. Now, if you're a Rocky fan, that may be like, oh, that's cool, that's great. But we had one of those guys already by the name of James Harden who can score with the best of them. What is different? Well, for one, this young man is only 19. So if he commit to the defense and just as well he commit to the offense, you can definitely have a superstar in your hand, man. Ain't no beating around the bush with that one, man. But I want to talk about something too. That's why I keep pulling things up here. So work with me here. Now the franchise cornerstone, Jalen Green. That's what everyone considered to be the franchise cornerstone. But there's some other picks that they picked up that were very, very good. Josh Christopher, Usman Garuba. I hope I didn't mess up his name. Sengun. Singun. I'm probably screwing these names up, but hey, it is what it is. And you feel like they got Singun at a good pick, right? Because you felt like he could have went higher, right? But he didn't. They got him there. So now you got a group of, you got a leader in Jalen Green. And when I say leader, I mean he gonna get you some buckets. All right. So you got that, and now you start to rebuild. You start to feel, if you're a Rocket fan, you feel a little bit more comfortable now. I wanna go in on something real quick. I wanna read something here to you guys when I was doing some research. So the thing is, what we have to understand is the Rockets had a lot of capital and was able to move some things around, and they got someone. But I want to talk about Sengun for a minute. You know, this is what came out about him. Sengun is an analytic darling. Immediately bring professional experience to Houston. According to ESPN, Sengun may be the most productive 18-year-old in high-level European basketball. Sengun's old school interior game may not be for everyone, but his production cannot be argued with. He's averaged 18 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 1.5 blocks, 1.3, one steal. His shot percentage 67 from the field, 81% from the free throw line. Playing professional as a teenager. I wanted to point that out for one reason. The Rockets, I'm sorry, I apologize. The Rockets got a young man at 18 who can just pretty much fill up a stat sheet. So where Jalen Green gonna get you your points, you can lock him in. But you also got a young player that can get points, that can rebound, that can get assists, that can block, that can steal. Now, what that says, you got defense. Why else they had some of that in New York? Some legitimate defense. It's been a while over there in Houston, right? But no, they got legitimate. I like seeing, and I love Jalen Green. Don't get me wrong. I've done 2 videos on him. I love Jalen Green, but I like Sengun. And before doing this, thanks to the only person that asked me to do this, I hadn't looked at him like that. I was like, oh, he's cool, okay, but I hadn't really paid attention. But then you start to dive into this guy, you realize across the board, this was an upgrade. The Rockets are definitely going to come in a lot better next year. Now, I'm not saying they're a bona fide championship contender, nothing like that. What I'm saying is they got the right guy. They got the right guys, and I love that for a team like that, because this is how you rebuild. You get them, you draft them, you build them up. You got, and I'm gonna talk about Garuba. Please forgive me for messing up his name real quick before I get out here. Let me bring him up, because these are all draft picks just this year. As they go through this rebuild stage, don't be surprised they're in the playoff next year. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Garuba is another young, productive overseas talent. He may be the best defensive prospect in this year's draft, with a strong frame, long wingspan, high intensity level. He's also played almost 90 games for Real Madrid last season and was considered one of the best young players in the country. Think about that. Christopher was a high-level recruit coming out of high school. He was incredibly inconsistent and left Arizona State with only 15 games. But while in college, he showed flashes of exceptional offensive potential, athleticism, and upside. And when you get to round where they drafted Christopher at, that's what you're expecting. Athleticism, upside. Yeah, he might not be polished right now, but he got the ability that we could build him up. So, man, Sengun and Green is a right. You write him in. We know you're excited about him. But Sengun, I really like what he does. And the fact that Garuba has been thought of as maybe the best defensive prospect in the draft, y'all know how big that is? Man, this was a great draft. Like, round of applause for the draft this year, man. It wasn't one of those 1, 2, 3, and then you can go rumble through the trash, see what else you can find. No, this was a great draft. I thought the Rockets had a great draft. They had one of the top drafts of this NBA draft. So, to my man that asked me for that, man, no problem. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope all y'all enjoyed the video. With that being said, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Till next time, man, you guys be good.